When you think about your life, either with number one or number two, and then you think of your life now, what are the biggest, like, what are the top 3 to 5 biggest differences between your life with them and your life now?
I feel like I get to be authentically myself. Like I got to learn who I was instead of seeing it through a filter of what they mirrored back and said who I was. Like getting up in the morning, like what I decide to wear, putting on makeup. Before it was like, if I put on makeup, oh, who are you trying to impress? It was like there was always a sinister meaning behind anything that you did. If you took up exercising or whatever, like who are you trying to impress? It wasn't them. In their minds, you're like, you're cheating or something. Like there was one of the positive things that happened in the first year was I lost 20 pounds. I had no idea, without effort. It just, the happiness, people were like, you look you're glowing and everything. And I'd be like, thank you. And it wasn't that I wasn't working at it. It was just this natural result of getting out of a toxic situation.
Wow.
That happened. And one of the things is, he loved to eat. And like, one of their things is like, when they eat, they want you to eat, And so now I get to eat when I want to eat, what I want to eat. I get to be healthier without being judged why I'm being healthier, like I get to it's just in the atmosphere of the house, one of the things I love is I don't have to have an answer for every thing that I do, or and like just the freedom of making the littlest everyday decisions. And
I love that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I guess, yeah.
Any issues with cooking?
No. We cook. The kids appreciate it when I cook up a big meal. They love it. And then there's other days where it's like, mom doesn't feel like cooking. Like, who's cooking tonight? Like, it's just like mealtime and it was an issue. It was just like, having dinner ready. And when they get home, and like, that was like a big thing. Food was like was a thing. And now it's just relaxed. And yeah.
Mine used to actually accuse me he'd have dinner and then he'd have like 2 huge bowls of ice cream, or he'd have like 2 Red Bulls or something that's not good for your stomach. And then he'd have these stomach pains and he would accuse me of poisoning the food. It was this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it made it so that it was uncomfortable to cook, because I knew that I was going to at some point get, reamed out or something. So I hated cooking. But
one of the things was like the hierarchy thing. Like one of the last, I remember I made dinner. I made this meatloaf that is amazing that I make. And so I remember that one of my older sons got up to get a second piece, and there was all this drama, like, from him, like, oh, that was the last piece. And I just remember like there being drama around dinner, like, because it was like he didn't make sure he had like the best or the last piece of whatever, and so the kids will bring it up, because that was like one of the last like difficult, like dramatic memories. It turned into this big thing. And I think my sister was over for dinner that night too. I remember we just left the house and went to a park, and I just remember it was just a thing. And now it's like we notice the difference at mealtime. It's like isn't this stress, this like you're gonna offend him by getting a second helping before he does, or like.
And I think that's the biggest, I love hearing you, talk about this stuff, because a lot of times when you're in the relationship, it becomes normal.
Right.
To be the person that's putting out fires all the time and making sure everything's lined up absolutely perfectly before they get home. And it becomes so normal, and you don't realize the weight that is lifted off of your shoulders when you don't have someone like that hovering around you, 24/7 or daily. Sometimes, females are just at home, but then before they go to work and after they go to work, it's this whole thing that they have to constantly be monitoring and making sure that they're happy and they're not going to be upset for any reason. And to go from that to where you are now, the difference is just night and day. And like you said, you lost like a bunch of weight without even trying, just because everything is so much lighter.
Yep. I really believe that when you're unhappy and you're in a toxic environment, like it affects your health more than you think it does. And because I've seen it, I see it now, like looking back, it's like, wow, I had no idea.
Exactly.